Hey everybody, how y'all doing? This is Carla Nix with today's inspiration, and as always, I'm here to encourage you, and it's my pleasure to encourage you and to remind you that you can live every day on purpose. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. You can live every day on purpose. I was in conversation with my brother the other day, with Ira, my youngest brother, and I was talking about something an experience I recently had. And I was telling him, I said, "Ooh, I've become mama." Our mother, she's no longer on earth with us. She passed some 30 some years ago. But she's still mama. There's nothing like mama. And but I was telling him, I said, I've become mama. A lot of things I do, a lot of um my attitude, a lot of things I say, but what word am I looking for? My body movements, um, you know, the way I move my hands, the way I hold my head. If y'all notice when I take pictures, and I put up a picture every day, I know. I usually have my head slanted. It's just natural. And Mama used to do that. I don't know why we do that, but she did. But what I was telling him about is the way I was holding my purse. And I said, oh boy, I was holding my purse just like Mama does. It's amazing. And I was talking to my son today, little Jerry. We call him little Jerry. He's 30 years old. He'll be 31 in a couple of months. But I was driving him to work today, and it had been raining. It was raining, and the sun was shining. And the first thing I said was, "Oh, the devil's beating up his wife." And he said, "I say that too." About himself. I said, "Well, Mama used to say it." He said, "So I got it." That he didn't realize he got that from me, hearing me saying it, and I got it from hearing Mama saying it all the time. My point is, it's amazing. Sometimes, even if we don't want to, we are. We have similar characteristics of those who our family, or even sometimes in our environment, those who we are around a lot. And it's a blessing, though. As parents, I want to encourage you and remind you to be careful of what your children see and what they hear. If they always hear you speaking negatively, that's how they're going to be. If they have a bitter attitude, a negative attitude, and that's what's going to carry over to them, and they're going to think that's just how you do. I was talking with Tiffany. She's a therapist now. I forget. We were speaking in general, but we were saying, some people that's all they know. Well, they may not see something wrong with an action. It's just what we do because that's all they know. That's all they see. So I suggest I would back up one more time. I was telling my daughter Tiffany, I have three children, so but we talk all the time, and I was saying how um I like to I expose them to different things, different for example, music. Most people in my family, the Houston family, even the Young family, are musically inclined in some way, whether it's singing or playing instruments. But I wanted to be sure that my children were exposed to it and had an advantage of learning if they so desired. They might not want, have wanted to do it, but at least they know that it's there and it could. Um, or some kind of artistic ability. We have a lot of artists. I have cousins who can draw, who can paint very well. I'm not one of them. I'm not even the singer, although I enjoy singing. My specialty is writing and speaking. That's what I love. But I wanted to expose them to all of these different things. And it made me again think about Mama, because Mama used to say all the time, you have to expose children. How do you know they can't play the piano if you never expose them to it, for example? How do you know you don't know what's in that child? You hope for certain things, but it really is good to expose them. So again, to the parents, I'm saying, do that for your children, academically, socially in all kind of ways, expose them to positive things and teach them, and don't talk down to them. Some kids, they don't expect to achieve because no one else had ever given them that expectation. In fact, my daughter, Anea, text me a little while ago. Today is report card day, and she's a senior in high school. And she said, I got all good grades, nothing bad. And I wrote back to her and I said, hip hip hooray. And and then I said, but I'm not at all surprised. I said, because you're a very smart young lady. And I grew up, remember my mama always uplifting us and telling us, you're beautiful. She told me that a lot. Look at that beautiful black skin, she said. Black don't crack. And just pretty black, as she would say. You know, but just she would say these things because society tears it down so much. But we knew that we were well loved, and we felt that there was nothing that we could do, that we could not do, because she told us that we could. We didn't have enough sense to think that, no, I can't do that. It's like, if I want to do this, I can do it. I have the ability to do it. Let's put it that way. It's in me to do it. I have the potential. So I only have to do it. She never put us down and said, no, you can't do that. In fact, I was talking with my son again today, and I was talking about some negative attitudes and comments that was made to them. Tiffany, as I said, she's a therapist. Tiffany always knew that she wanted to study psychology and she wanted to be a counselor or a therapist. That's what she wanted, and she never wavered on that. I'm talking about all through high school and all beyond. That was what she wanted. But I remember, just before she started college, someone asked her, and it really hurt me because it was family, not my family, but her family. That said, when she said she wanted to do that, they said, I can't see you doing that. I don't think you should go in that field. Don't you want to try? And I had to get on them, and I said, don't discourage her. At least encourage her. I could see if she said, I want to go on the street and be a prostitute. Then yeah, you say, no, you better than that. You're not gonna do that. But this is something good. Just because that person don't know her deeply and her abilities as as her mom does, doesn't give them the right to tell them that they can't do that or that they shouldn't do that. She could have taken it like that because that person was highly respected. And because that person said that, she could have taken the road and said, well, I guess I can't do that. She don't think I could do it, so I guess I can't. So we have to be careful with what we say and how we say it. Choose our words carefully. I think that person should have said, tell me what you like about this field. What do you want to do? Get her to talk about it, but don't put her down and put it down and discourage. I have never, but that's a whole nother story. Trust me, but I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Well, go back to Tiffany. When they were little, Tiffany at one point was a little chubby. She was getting a little chubby. And I remember from the same family, somebody told her, oh, you don't want to look like, and use another cousin, one of her cousins' name. You don't want to look like Kim. You're too heavy. You're going to look like him. And I got on them because Tiffany was already self-conscious. She was already was lacking in self-esteem. She was already feeling bad about, this was the time like when she was just about to go into puberty. And it was the time when people are don't feel good about themselves sometimes at that time. She used to walk with her hands crossed. I mean, how could you tear a child down like that? And I told that person, I said, don't, no, I don't do that to my children, and I don't want you to do that to them. And I said, what's wrong with that other child? Okay, the other child may be, the child was kind of chubby, very chubby. But so what? I said, does that make that child less of a person or less lovable? And Tiffany is very close to that cousin. They're very close, and to this time, they're still very close. They live in different cities, but they're still very close. And I can't condone that kind of language to children. I mean, that's just as bad as cursing them out. It's tearing them down. So what's the difference? So be careful. Oh, be careful, little eyes, what you see. Be careful, little mouths, what you say. The tongue, as the Bible says, as James says, the tongue can tear you down. It can cut you down. Don't do that, especially if you profess to love somebody. Watch what you say. Let's uplift one another. Let's encourage one another. Let's remind our young people that they can do whatever they want to do. Okay, God bless you. This is Carla Widenix for today's inspiration.